The recent investment by China in Argentina has raised concerns in the United States due to the possible threat it poses to American economic and political power in the area. To date, the Biden administration's response to China's growing influence in the Americas has been inadequate. In fact, an unnamed senior source on the National Security Council told reporters in January that the word China is not mentioned in the Western Hemisphere section of the still classified National Security Strategy paper. So that raises the question, what are the dangers of Chinese investment in the Americas to the United States? And how can these events shape the world at large? Welcome to Around the World, and today we'll be looking at why China's investment in Argentina has the United States terrified. One of the most significant problems caused by China's investment in Argentina is that it will almost certainly result in an increase in the amount of competition for available resources and market share. As China's economy continues to expand, the country will seek out new places to obtain its raw materials and new customers for its manufactured products. This may result in a higher level of rivalry for resources and markets in Argentina and the regions surrounding the country, which may be detrimental to American enterprises that operate in those areas. One other widespread worry is that China's investments in Argentina could lead to an expansion of China's political influence in the area. See, it is expected that China will acquire a greater amount of influence on the country's government and the main decision makers as it continues to invest in the country. This may result in Argentina and China becoming increasingly aligned on significant issues such as trade, security, and foreign policy, which may harm the United States. Additionally, China's investment in Argentina may possibly result in a shift in the balance of power on a global scale. It is possible that China will be able to threaten the United States' position as the preeminent power in the Western Hemisphere as it continues to increase its economic and political influence in the region. This might result in a heightened tension between the United States and China, and it even has the potential to culminate in a new fight for power and influence, reminiscent of the one that occurred during the Cold War. Furthermore, investments made by China in Argentina may have repercussions that are detrimental to the natural ecosystem. There is a possibility that China's ongoing investment in large-scale infrastructure projects, such as dams and mines, would have an adverse effect on the local ecosystem. This is a risk that the country is willing to take, but this could result in a rise in pollution and the depletion of natural resources, both of which would be harmful to the people of Argentina and the regions that surround it. And to make matters worse, the United States is afraid that China's investment in Argentina may potentially result in the transfer of advanced technologies and intellectual property, which adds another layer of anxiety to the situation. This is due to the fact that if China continues to invest in Argentina's technology and infrastructure sectors, it may be able to gain access to cutting-edge technologies and intellectual property that it could use to improve its own industries. This could potentially give China an advantage over the United States in the global market. But that is not all, as there is the possibility that China's investments in Argentina could result in the construction of critical port infrastructure and military sites. The United States is concerned that the Chinese investments in Argentina could lead to the establishment of Chinese military bases and port facilities that could be used to project power in the region, potentially threatening the United States' security and interests in the region. This concern stems from the fact that China continues to expand its military capabilities and assert its presence in the South American region. In addition, China has been seriously working to increase its presence in the region. Besides that, the United States is concerned that China's investments in Argentina would result in the formation of a debt trap for Argentina, and this concern is shared by the United Kingdom. See, China has a history of making substantial loans to developing nations, with the assumption that these countries will grow dependent on Chinese finance and resources. This expectation is based on the fact that China has a history of doing so. If Argentina comes to rely exclusively on Chinese investment, the country runs the risk of falling into a vulnerable state, marked by a high level of debt, coupled with constrained opportunities for economic growth. This might result in economic instability for Argentina and an increased dependence on China, both of which would be detrimental to the interests of the United States in the region. In addition, as a consequence of this, Argentina's sovereignty could be jeopardized since the country might be obligated to make concessions in order to satisfy its financial obligations to China. This may involve modifying its rules and regulations in a way that makes them more favorable to Chinese enterprises, or it may even involve relinquishing control over important assets and sectors to China. This has the potential to have significant repercussions for Argentina's domestic politics, and could result in upheaval on both the social and governmental levels. As if that were not frightening enough, the United States is also concerned that China's investments in Argentina could result in a loss of jobs and economic possibilities for Americans. This may result in a loss of jobs for Americans, as well as a reduction in the number of goods sent to Argentina. This could have a detrimental effect on the economy of the United States, and could result in political pressure from within the country on the government to take corrective measures. And to add insult to injury, the United States is also concerned that China's investments in Argentina could lead to a lowering of environmental and labor standards. This is on top of the fact that they might have already claimed good job opportunities. It is common knowledge that Chinese businesses place a higher priority on economic expansion than on the protection of the environment and the rights of workers. If this trend continues in Argentina, it may have a severe influence on the country's environment and the rights of workers there. And it is possible that this will have a detrimental effect on the United States' reputation as a country that is committed to protecting both human rights and the environment. In order to prevent any of our previously mentioned problems, the United States must be proactive in monitoring China's investments in Argentina to ensure that they align with its own interests and values. This includes carefully scrutinizing the terms of these investments, as well as the potential long-term consequences they may have on the United States' security, economic interests, and values in the region. One of the ways in which this might be accomplished is by forming a concerted front with other countries in the region, such as Brazil and Chile, to counteract any possible dangers that may be posed by China's involvement in the area. This may include the exchange of knowledge and information, as well as cooperative development of strategies and policies to counteract any adverse effects that may be caused by these investments. In addition, the United States could think about expanding its own economic and development support to Argentina in order to encourage alternative investment opportunities and bolster the independence and sovereignty of the country. In a nutshell, the United States of America needs to be watchful in its monitoring of investments made by China in Argentina, and adopt an approach that incorporates multiple strategies in order to lessen the potential dangers that could affect its national security, economic interests, and core values in the region. This seems to be the only way, as many people believe, that the United States can preserve its own interests and ensure the overall security of the region by taking a proactive and strategic approach. Many people see the interest that China is showing in the Americas as a sign of hope, a glimmer of light in the distance, and a step toward a more promising tomorrow. On the other hand, there are many people who believe it is nothing more than gasoline for a war that was long overdue, and that might very well put the Americas in the thick of it. But what do you think? Is this a step toward world peace? Or the path to a new conflict? Let us know in the comments section below. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked the video. And while you are here, why not check out this video? Until next time, bye! Why China's investment in Argentina has the United States